Hello, people. This is Mac with Mac Commentary. And I also have as my guest today, Bob. Hello, Bob. How are you today?
I'm doing fine, Mac. How are you?
Great. Well, today, you know, I've been looking at a lot of things. They're talking about the indictment of former President Donald Trump. They tell me that he has been hit with about 30 criminal charges related to alleged document fraud in the indictment issued against him by New York grand jury. Uh, Now, this was reported last Friday, I believe. Now, the indictment was approved, well, I guess it was reported yesterday, was approved yesterday. And the NBC, I believe, they reported that this morning about the what the grand jury had said. But the indictment, which was remains sealed though in Manhattan. Now, as you know, Bob, Trump is the leading contender for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination. And he's scheduled to be arraigned in Manhattan court on Tuesday next week. And they tell me that at least part, if not all of the indictment is understood to be related to Trump's reimbursement of his then lawyer and fixer, as they call it, Michael Cohen, for $130,000 hush money payment made to porn star Stormy Daniels election. Now, they're alleging that the Trump Organization recorded payments that Trump made to Cohen for that purpose as legal expenses. And it's a misdemeanor under New York law to misclassify business expenses. That can become a felony if done to cover up another crime. Now, Daniel's legal name is Stephanie Clifford, was paid to keep silent about her claim, allegedly, now that's what they're saying, that she had sex with Trump in 2006. Now, President Trump denies this. Trump is the first U.S. president, former or otherwise, to be charged in a criminal case. And still, it's a real complex situation here, Bob. There are some people out here thinks that majority of, they're trying to say that a poll released found that the majority of Americans believe that Trump should be disqualified from running for the White House if he is charged with a crime. But still, there's no law against Trump seeking the presidency while facing charges. So he has not, he's been charged with a crime, if that's what they're doing, but there's no law that says he can't run for the president. Well, this stuff really, Trump talks about, a lot of people point their finger at George Soros because as the one that's pushing this indictment thing, because his organization gave over $500,000 to a district attorney of Manhattan, Bragg. Now, that's a lot of money, Bob, in anybody's books. So this, to me, that means that he has some type of, he's looking for some type of payoff. And they want to keep Trump from running for president because they're trying to keep it the way it is now, having a Democrat in there that they can control and they can keep that party in power. But a lot of this, Bob, came about, I think, too, with the fact that Trump said that the election was a fraudulent election. Now, I'm not going to get into to all of that, but I'll tell you one thing. I used to have a lot of faith in the elections in this country, Bob, but I don't anymore. Not since 2000 when then Governor Bush ran for president. He was a nominee for the Republican Party, and his brother down in Florida at the time was Jeb Bush. And somehow or another, they quit counting the votes down in Florida and went to the Supreme Court to have them to do what they did to say they could quit counting the votes down in Florida. And so the president went to Bush, and Gore did not fight that. So I mean, that was just a little thing at the time when I was thinking about that. But then I saw in the city of Detroit where a person became the mayor there, a white suburbanite became the mayor of Detroit, running against a black popular former police chief. And that really surprised me, because this white nominee for the candidate for the mayor, you had to write his name on the ballot in order to select him. And I'm thinking, you got 80% of the population in Detroit at that time was black. And I don't think they would be writing in anybody's name on a ballot. But this gentleman, who is still the mayor there, he overwhelmingly won that office. So that's just one other thing I'm saying about crooked politicians and voting, and other things have happened too. And I'm not going to get into all of that, but this all came down to that, where Trump didn't want to accept the fact that he had lost the election, is what they are saying. So he called fraud and everything. But somehow or another, people don't want to accept that there may be something to what Trump was saying. But anyway, Bob, how do you look at this situation right now?
Well, Mac, thank you for having me on your show. I would just say simply to you and your audience, I've been watching elections for quite a while, and I really got excited about an election back in 1960 when John Kennedy ran for president. I was only 20 years old, but I couldn't vote for him. But I was a young Catholic kid, a Catholic young man, and Kennedy was running. So I got out and I passed out flyers. I wanted him to get elected, because they were saying, well, you know, if Kennedy gets elected, the Pope's going to be running America. And I thought at that time, because I was a brainwashed Catholic kid, that wouldn't be a bad deal. I mean, if the Pope becomes good, that'll be good for Detroit, because back then, again, that was 1960, and the civil rights movement and so forth had really started. And there was a lot of things that blacks were being exposed to back then that were unhealthy. And I thought, well, maybe if the Pope, was in control of a little bit more, but that'll make things better in Detroit. But anyway, talking about the manipulation and the deceitfulness in elections, American elections, Kennedy had lost the election to Richard Nixon, and Richard Daley was the mayor of Chicago. So it's alleged that he threw 250,000 votes into Lake Michigan, which swung the election for Kennedy. So now fast forward, and they asked Nixon about that later on. They said, well, wait a minute, man. What about what happened in Chicago? And Nixon said, well, let's just let sleeping dogs lie. I'll get my turn. And ultimately, he did get his turn. So, when I look at that and then I look at elections and so forth coming up, American elections are an exercise in manipulation, deceit, and lies, uh, and it doesn't surprise me at all. Now, with regards to President Trump, I think President Trump made himself a real bad bed when he started talking about uh, draining the swamp. He started, and I like Trump. I supported Trump. I got Trump hats. As a matter of fact, I was at a meeting one time. I had on my Trump hat, "Make America Great Again." And this black guy said, "Hey, man, you can't come in here with that on. Don't you know you might get your ass kicked?" And I looked at this brother and I said, "Wait a minute, man. I mean, somebody's gonna kick my ass. Who's gonna kick their ass? You know, he's got to bring ass to get ass. And that's what I was taught as a kid. So anyway, that's another little story. But anyway, I like Trump, but I knew and I felt that Trump was going to cause a lot of problems by virtue of him talking about draining the swamp. America could not run itself and the world as it does if it was not full of deceit, lies, and alibis. Back. That's just a fact in my mind.
Well, you
That's
know what,
my
Bob? You know what? Hold that thought right there, because I heard a gentleman from a country in Africa. I can't place him right now, but he was on our show and he was talking about how they talk about corruption in the countries over. He said, "Well, we have we call it corruption over here in Africa, but the United States they call it lobbying."
right,
So
right.
you're right on there with what you were saying. Go ahead, Bob.
Well, I would simply say that when he started saying making those statements, I knew he was going to have a problem if he got elected. Well, somehow or another, his side of the team pulled it off, and he became the 45th president of the United States. And if you recall, from the day, even before when he first announced that he was running, they jumped right on him, and and that continued even after he became sworn in as president.
They, yeah, that's right. They never let up on him. I thought that they were like the Republicans was hard on Obama. His first term as well
Right.
as his second, and I thought it was really hard on that first term. But when I look at the way they did Trump, I have never seen anything like that, man. I mean, it was horrendous.
Right, right, and I'm hoping, as I say, I I I like Trump, but I'm hoping now that he's been indicted, I want to see them put him in handcuffs, or orange suit, march him down Fifth Avenue in New York, and put him behind bars for this reason. It may show how deceitful, how dishonest this country is. Because Democrats, see, most of us don't know the history of the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is nothing but the Dixiecrats. They were the Ku Klux Party of the Ku Klux Klan. The party of and Joe Biden, he was a part of all that, man.
Oh
But
yeah.
they have been able to manipulate us because most of us won't read the history and acknowledge that this guy is nothing but a racist. So this is why I'm hoping that Trump gets busted, gets fingerprinted, gets a mug shot, and gets put on the front of every newspaper in America as a convicted felon for this reason. If that happens, I think people are going to be so upset that then they're going to go back to Joe Biden and begin to look at him and look at his family. Look at the Biden family and all of the things that they're doing right now, occupying the White House.
Well, I think that questions also come up, Bob. They have to go back and also maybe I don't know whether statute of limitation or anything that is applicable, but someone should have indicted Bush for that war on Iraq.
Yes, yes.
I'm hearing people talk about that. I'm reading that right now, where people saying why isn't Bush been brought up on criminal war?
Yeah. Oh, you absolutely, and that's the duplicity that I'm talking about. You're absolutely correct, and that's why I think that if he's orange suited and leg shackles and handcuffed and paraded down Fifth Avenue, the world will be able to see uh, uh, how duplicitous this country is, and and I think it would be a healthy thing for the country, because if you look at, I I don't understand how we as a people, how we as a country can continue to endure the mental illness that pervades our country, and just allow the politicians to lead us around with a ring in our nose. And this is just another example of it, in my opinion. Uh, I think Donald Trump is a good family man, but I think as a leader, as a former leader, former president of the country, if he is put on display to show the world that this is what America does to people who try to clean it up, because I think Trump was really trying. I think Trump's attitude and intent was to make America great again, not make it a white racist country again,
Oh no,
but to
I don't think that was his intention.
no,
Uh,
not at all. And it was to bring it back so that, because if you look at him, uh, look at what he did. Like you talked about how you look at voting for a candidate. If blacks didn't vote for him for the most part, it did increase from like 9% to about 15%. But if but black unemployment among youth and adults was the lowest it's ever been, even when Obama was president.
oh yeah.
You see, so there were good sides to what he was trying to do. So for them to brand him as a racist and try to make him look like he was the devil in disguise for black people, I think that was a misguided message that the Democrats put out there. And the Democrats, if I look back on them historically, they've been good at doing and lying to people and doing the things that they do. I mean, Bull Connor was a well-known Dixiecrat, and you can go right down to John Eastland, Stennis, all these guys, they were Democrats. The guy that was Biden's from West Virginia, I forget Robert, I forget his name now, but anyway, he was Biden's mentor. He used to be the grand dragon or whatever they call it of the Ku Klux Klan, and he was the head of the Democrat Senate, uh, Robert Byrd,
Bird, yeah.
until until he died. So Democrats have been very good at disguising their racists because they knew how to smile at black people and rub our heads, pat us on the ass and say, "Well, you're doing a good job, boy. Hey, keep at it. Get out there and dig some more dirt." And that's what we're seeing here. And so now they took the one white guy who wanted to drain the swamp, change things for the betterment of the country, and they're going to hang him on a cross like they hung Jesus. That's what they're trying to do right now, in my opinion.
Well, I think you're right on there, Bob. I think that's exactly what they are trying to do, and they will. I don't know how far it's going to go, though. I think it's gonna somebody gonna pull the plug there after a while. Right now, they they just try to they trying to stop Trump from getting his campaign up and running. At full
Yes.
speed. Once like they say, once that train get to going, it's hard as the Dickens to stop it. You know what I mean? So this
Right.
so this is what they tried to stop Trump from doing anything. And but I don't they slowing him down somewhat because it's a distraction.
Right.
You know, but I think they're not going to have anything to at all. And like I tell people, having been in law enforcement, that a U.S. attorney, assistant U.S. attorney, they can get an indictment anytime they want to. It's just probable cause. You know what I mean?
Uh
That,
huh.
that's all. That's what it all amounts to. It doesn't mean that they don't have any evidence there. They don't show them in the grand jury any evidence beyond a reasonable doubt or anything like that. They just got enough there so they can get information or in this particular case, get an indictment. But this is at the state level or city level or whatever, the Manhattan. I guess that is the state. But I don't think they're gonna have a case on him. Not for what they're talking about because they've already came out with a letter that came from one of the somebody associated with his attorney. I think it was the attorney for Cohen, in which he stated that all the money that was paid to this particular woman was paid from Cohen, and nothing came from Trump. So I don't know whether the district attorney is going to come up with that evidence. They claim they have something, but like I said before, Bob, they can come up with stuff like this here. This what they call a smear campaign. You know what I mean?
Right.
It,
Right.
it, it
And
only
it's not illegal as far as I know, and I'm not a lawyer, but uh, a non-disclosure agreement, those are used every day, as I understand it. I mean, you and I could have a non-disclosure agreement about something, and we sign an agreement. You say, "Okay, well, Bob, here's $50 for not disclosing this information,"
right.
and I take the $50. There's nothing illegal about that. But then, if I then go out and disclose the information, then you have right
A recourse.
against me for having lied and signed. And I think that's what that woman did. She took the money and then went out and lied on Trump.
Exactly. And they do that all the time, man. This is the Me Too years, decades, or whatever you want to call it. So everybody come out of woodwork that thinks something happened to them, they'll come out and make these allegations.
Right.
And said, what? Why? You look at him and say, why? I mean, what's wrong? You know, your life is that bad
Right.
that you want to drum up something, you know. But anyway, that's what's happening with I believe with Trump and in that district attorney there. So I'm not at all looking at thinking that there's going to be anything going to happen to Trump. I think Trump is going to be running for president. Only thing he got to worry about is DeSantis. And I think Governor DeSantis though might just get on the same ticket with him. You know.
Well, I've been watching today the Republicans that are coming out that they are irate about the way that Trump is being treated by this prosecutor from New York.
I wonder.
Uh,
I wonder is that because he's of a different persuasion.
what do you mean by that? He's a LGBTQ
No,
plus.
no, he's black.
Oh, that's a good point. Huh?
I mean,
I hadn't thought about that. Yeah, maybe they think that a black man is trying to bring down the U.S. government by parading a white man on trumped up charges, just like whites have been trumping up charges on blacks for so many years.
oh yeah, that is, and you know that's why it's some say that hey, that's why they with Trump because they want uh, they want this country to go back to being like it was. You know, I mean, but I don't. I mean, I can agree. I agree with them on that. I mean, we had prayer in schools. We had pledging allegiance and all that stuff every morning. And when I was a
That's
kid,
right.
and we went to church. People didn't. I mean, everything was shut down just about on Sunday except the gas stations. You know,
Yeah, sure.
and but uh, but all of a sudden we became a secular society. They took the prayer out of the schools. They then a little bit of they start dismantling the morals in this country, Bob, little by little,
Yes.
and that's what I want to go back to, you know.
Right. Right.
And so if that's what Trump was talking about, then I'm with him, you know. And
Absolutely.
but they just continue to dismantle it, and then the government working to help destroy the communities in this country. They go out there and they dump uh, drugs in the community and make it easier for them to have access to it. And then they start locking up all the black males if they get caught with little drugs that they use for personal use, you know. And they
Right.
sentence them to 10 years in jail. And make you wonder. No wonder we don't have 70% of the households are ran by women.
Yeah.
They go and they continue to destroy it by going out there uh, arresting black men. And now Louisiana, well, I saw where a senator there from there, John Kennedy, I believe his name, from Louisiana, they want to implement the stop and frisk in New Orleans because
Oh, wow.
things have gotten out of control down there, you know. And he said, "Oh, we tried everything." Well, did you try to build factories down there and give people down there jobs? You know,
Yes.
did you try to go down there and put down there schools down there to teach the young people coding and computer programming and all these type of things? Did you do all those things? No, they didn't do anything. You can see that that guy talking about that. It's on YouTube. It's the Senate hearing that I saw. I mean, he was getting up there talking. You know, it wasn't a hearing, but he was just sharing that with them and
Uh huh.
trying to make it seem like that we need this here stop and frisk throughout. Who do they stop and frisk when they doing it? They doing it anyway, the blacks.
Right.
So it's not like it's something that's How is that going to change anything in New Orleans? He said, yeah, we got 58% uh, blacks on the police department in New Orleans, you know. So what? I mean, you've already made a culture that you're supposed to keep your knee on the necks of the black man. So you got a culture like that. So you put another black man there to take the place of the white man, you know.
Right,
So that
right.
makes everybody think, oh, we're not racist, you know. That's a black man got his foot on his neck, you know,
Right,
at your behest, right? But anyway, Bob,
right.
I'm not going to go off on that.
Well, we'll have to wait and see what happens to our friend Donald Trump. But even though I hate saying this, I hope that they do go ahead and put him in an orange jumpsuit with leg irons and handcuffs and parade him down Fifth Avenue and let the people see the duplicity of this government.
Well, you know, Bob, I don't think that's going to happen. And but if it does happen, we just have to just wonder what will happen. What kind of precedents will that set for this country? Will that just be another rung taken out of the ladder to destroy and bring down this country? Because it appears that it's almost on its last leg, Bob.
Well, I think you're correct about that, Mac. And if you look back over history, uh, they used to say that the sun never set on the British Empire. Well, today it doesn't seem like it even rises. And now they got a new king, that guy Charles III. He's more of a jokester, I think. But I don't want to get off track here. The point is, every empire has seen its best day and has fallen. I think America has seen its best day and is falling. And we may be looking at the beginning of the end of the American empire. It may take 30, 40, even 100 years. But I think this place is coming apart at the seams. And I think it goes right back to what you said earlier. America has lost its moral authority. It was established as a Christian nation, and now you don't hear. And I can remember as a kid, we used to, Mr. Warren's class. I think I was in the 6th grade. He taught social studies, and before we began our class, we said the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Exactly.
But they don't want you doing that today. And it was blacks and whites in the class. It wasn't, okay, blacks, you can't say the Pledge of Allegiance, only white people. No, all of us did it together. But all of that moral authority has gone. And the
Right.
other thing I think that's been lost is that with this so-called secular nation, ministers, honest ministers, have had to take a back seat and have been pretty much relegated to second-class individuals. That's not a good thing for a country. So I think we may be looking at, and I think I agree with you, America may be on its last leg, and that's a tragedy.
Well, Bob, we're going to leave that right there on that note there. And people, if you like to our comments here, we would like for you to respond to them in the comments section, or if you don't like them, and let us know your feelings about this subject, or whether or not former President Trump should go to jail and wear that orange jumpsuit, as Bob so eloquently put it there. If just let us know what your thoughts are, and don't forget to subscribe, like and share this video. Okay, Bob, thanks a lot. I appreciate you coming on today, and I'll see you on the next show.
Thank you, Mac. I'm grateful to have been here.